Hi, everyone. I have Linda McKenna here with Golden Rule. She has a senior placement company here in Florida, and she's an incredible resource for my clients, for friends, for family. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Amanda, and thank you for the rest of your team. Thank you for introducing me. I'd be delighted to work with you all. I realize the in-depth work that you do with your clients, and sometimes they're leaving their nest to go on to their next chapter. So I would definitely work with you well to making that a very easy transition for them.
One of the things I love
to
most
sell the house
about,
quicker.
yeah, one of the things I love most about you is you can connect, you can talk with the client themselves, the one that's moving, but then also you can kind of be the mediator between the agents, between the kids, between all the people, and come up with a comprehensive plan of what is actually the best next step, and then present it to everybody in mostly a calm manner. Obviously, you have to be direct with people, but you have a very good bedside manner, I would say, to be able to help with that. So that's what I love
Thank
about
you.
working with you.
Thank you. There's an old adage that's always said that mom could take care of 5 children and 5 children can't take care of mom. And I just did a video talk on the fact is, why do folks want to stay home? Or, why do seniors want to stay home? Because the fear of the unknown. So if we could present it them in a positive manner, of course, there is no worry. There is no overwhelming effect. We embrace them together and make it a good transition. But it's not your last chapter. It's actually probably one of your best chapters.
Yeah,
you're
well, I
living
feel like
life to the
sometimes
fullest.
they just need help getting connected to where, because I feel like a lot of them are missing socialization, and then some of these places have that component, or if they need independent, and then eventually they need assisted. Like, they have incredible options for the different levels of care that they may or may not need. But they also, if they can make the decision before they need it, like, they have more control over the situation, which I think.
I love working with you, Amanda, because you get it. I always say it's the 4 pillars of needs, and I've always been in home health and hospice. So I've been in healthcare for almost 30 years. And medical always came first. But unfortunately, of course, affordability is really got to be the first pillar of need, because what we all would like, we might not be able to afford. Who wants a Mercedes-Benz, but we really could afford a Volkswagen. So it's in everything in life. But I'm a firm believer that somebody, what they could afford now has to perpetuate through the rest of their existence. So we want to make sure that they live out with ample amount of money. The next thing is medical is very important, because of the fact that it's got to be medically appropriate, like you had said, independent to assisted to memory care. So the transition's in one building. It's not actually
They don't have to move
moving,
all around.
across the state again, and to find something that is more feasible. Nobody wears a scarlet letter in an assisted living or senior living community. Oh, this one's assisted, that one's memory care. Nobody really knows your business. And the third pillar, thank you for saying that. The third pillar I take very, very seriously is socialization. Social activity is what you wake up for every day. And when you're home alone, it's an existence, and there's nothing to look forward to. And we went through that whole gambit when we were in, COVID, that we were separated from, being able to do things together, not going to a place of worship. Everything was, alienated. So social, and people are like, well, I don't like to do that anymore. And I'm like, well, if you had other people to do it with, I have ladies that are gardening like they have done in the past, because yes, it was overwhelming to do it at home, but now they're doing it with their lady friends. Same thing with gentlemen, woodworking, billiards, and there's so many things that they could do together. So there's something to look forward to. And the last pillar a lot of people don't talk about, unfortunately, is spirituality. That is what drives us every day as well too. And we should not be stolen from our faith, because it could come into the community, into the home as well. That should not be robbed from anybody. So that is actually enhanced. So absolutely, the 4 pillars, thank you for saying that, is very important to me, and that's what we go through. It's like a piece of a puzzle. We got the perimeters of knowing what we want, but those inner pieces are really important to be interconnected to make a whole picture.
Sure. Now, if
complete.
let's say somebody had someone that they wanted to place, how would someone go about doing that?
You could give them my recommendations and, brochures, cards, and my services are free,
Mhm.
to the client. And the reason why I always lead them to my website, as much as you're recommending them, it might be the family that wants to know, who is
They
this
have to
Linda
do the
that
research, right?
Amanda, yeah,
Mhm.
is recommending, and who is this enigma of a person?
Right.
So going to my website does have my bio, but it has a lot of information there, the testimonials, my demographics, my also resources that I have, the various options. So they feel like they're becoming educated. And I have video talks on every area, probably did about over 100 of them that they could look through and get acquainted with the whole aspects of it.
Mhm.
And then we have conference calls, we do Zoom meetings, we do what family, because a lot of them are all around the United States. So we convene and we make it work as a team with
Perfect.
the
And
family.
then for tours, like how do tours work? Do people come to you to tour ahead of time? Do they come meet you there? How do tours work if people want to like?
Absolutely, absolutely. What I try to do, because I'm not to make it laborious with the family and the actually senior themselves, I will send them a lot of options virtually.
Okay.
To see, the pricing, the availability, what apartment, what room, is it furnished, whatever the parameters are, the licensure, if there's a move-in cost, whatever that it takes.
Mhm.
I send it to them so this way they can have an idea. And sometimes, after getting those 10, because imagine if we did all 10, it's like this.
Right.
They
I
had to
guess
switch,
tour. Yeah.
just like when you're selling a home, it's like, oh my God, I don't
Too much
remember,
information. Right.
That's exactly. So having those virtual tours like you do is something that I do as well. So
Mhm.
we silo it. We pick the three that really fit every pillar of need, and then we do tour day. I come with them, doing the tours with them. I prepare them. They have a folder. They have notes. I tell them,
Mhm.
bring your cell phone with you as well to take extra pictures. I schedule it. The very reason is that it's undivided attention that I'm
Mhm.
getting from that sales staff, net of the director of nursing. They're coming in to do an evaluation. But I want them to meet all of administration, and it's undivided attention. Sometimes we do it over lunch as well too.
We
If
can you tell us
it's
about the food
or
person that comes
actually,
to?
yes, yes.
Okay.
And the reason why is because this way they can see how people are engaged and they can picture themselves in it
Mhm.
as well. And most of the large brick and mortar ones that will have a uh, one that is actually staged, that they have a room that is already furnished and all, to give them ideas where their furniture will fit as well. I offer them all conveniences, not only movers, but also downsizing companies as well, working with you guys. So this way, we want that house to be staged appropriately, but at the same time, maybe it's time to get rid of some things, donating wise, selling things, giving to family. So a downsizing company becomes very focused on that, and knows the
Sometimes,
value of
sometimes the seniors can't do all the physical labor either. So sometimes they really
it.
need some company to like pack up what it is, move it to this place and set it all back up.
And or and market to somebody,
Yeah.
some don't want to get rid of things, and I say to them, why, with selling the home, you can't have it cluttered because people can't see past that.
Mhm.
But at the same time is maybe, if it's such a rush, maybe it's worth getting, even a storage center for
Right.
a couple of months, storing some things labeled, so then your family can come and pick up,
Bring it to you.
their mementos.
Mhm.
And then, you don't know really how it's going to fit or whatever. We can always manage it. So, it's a rush, but it's not. So you're
I
really
went to a
moving
memory
along.
care place locally, and they had an interesting perspective. And it was basically like they really put the senior first, and basically say sometimes it's not safe for the senior to be alone wherever they're living. So they try to place them first in the home, and then
Mhm.
deal with the house sale and all those pieces afterwards. And they kind of help set up a concierge service to kind of help with all those pieces.
Amen.
But the mental health and safety stability of that patient is of the utmost importance.
I
And
agree,
that really
because then
resonates.
you know what, you could take the liberty of doing what you have to do with the home, but they're already settled. And people don't realize when you are committing, it's not a life investment or
Mhm.
a term that you say, I'm going to be, doing this, signing a lease for a year. That's not the case. It's month to month. So idealistically, I get it pretty much 99.5% right every time. But
Really
there
good,
is room
good
for them
number.
not liking it, or some things change and maybe they want to move up north
Mhm.
or further south to their family, and rather than staying, where their local home just sold or where they're selling.
Mhm.
So that ease of notion, I agree, get them into that place, get them settled, because all the other stuff
Yeah.
is really cumbersome for them to go through, and especially emotionally it is
Well, and it just
draining
can
for
cause
them.
so much stress on the body. Like they
Yes,
don't need
yes.
any more additional stress, I feel like.
Absolutely. They go without eating. They don't drink properly. So you're, and if the children are helping, it's like you're now babysitting and doing this major task, and they become with it as well too as the caretakers.
Right, right, absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Is there anything you can think of that would be helpful? Like, let's say if someone's trying to do the research on their own, would you have them reach out sooner than later? Like, when do people normally reach out to you? When at the very beginning, in the middle, at the end? Like, when do you normally hear from people?
I think a conversation needs to be had with their loved one first, because we don't want to think that they're being ripped from their home. So having this conversation, and sometimes even consulting with their physicians, because some of their physicians,
Mhm.
especially the primary care physician, is seeing a decline in them
Ah,
as well too. So having that approach that the doctor is also recommending it, and mom, we're noticing these habits, we're noticing, or dad, this is what you're not doing. Oh, you shouldn't be driving. You don't want to reprimand them, but give them ideas of hope. So when we approach the idea of senior living, that's why I say virtual is great,
mhm.
because everybody thinks senior living is a nursing home, and it's not a nursing home by
Right.
any means of imagination.
And there's so
Once,
many different levels and so many different options and like there's like a luxury apartments, there's whole houses, there's villas, there's on the ocean, like there's so many
absolutely.
options.
And you don't know what you don't know. So having them be educated along with you, you become on the same team of working together for the better aspect of mom. So I always say we typically senior living works in a 30 to 60-day window, only because of availability and
Yeah.
pricing.
Okay.
But it's not to say that you could not put a deposit or ahead of time, or say, this is where we're going, we're going to wait for that particular room or
Mhm.
whatever that may be. The smaller the facility, the less options there are for availability, but the larger ones, there is a lot more options. But I think putting the thought in their mind first and talking as a team is the most important. And then I could always approach it with the 4 pillars of needs. Once that is brought out
They're
by the
aware, they're
family, filling
receptive to
out
the
that,
conversation.
yes.
Mhm.
And actually on my website, underneath one of my tabs is actually a client profile. It makes the family think,
Mhm.
oh, wow, I didn't realize mom is incontinent. Oh, didn't realize mom does have limitation. She does have a walker. Oh, so all those things come into play to realize, to help them say, see, mom, this is what's happening with you, or dad, this is what we're getting from your doctor. These are
Mhm.
the needs, because selfishly, with some disease process like COPD, which is, pulmonary disease, they're on oxygen. It's never going to get better. It's going to get, it's going to unfortunately stabilize or get worse. So, you want to plan ahead, but if you're not knowing really what their medical situation is, or their level of independence, because they mask it very well,
Right.
not paying their bills for 6 months, um, it's a conversation that has to be had first, really and truly.
And then what areas do you service?
I'm lucky enough, I've done things all over the state of Florida. And it's wonderful. We're a retirement state, though it's been changing, quite honest with you.
Yep.
Um, oh, did I lose you? Hold on a second. There, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, somebody was calling me.
Okay.
The reason I say that I'm nationally is because there's a lot of people that move out of Florida to go with their children up north, or I've had the opposite come as well. So, but I've placed in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Tennessee, Colorado, Texas, Arizona, and I even told they didn't want me to come along with them, Hawaii. So yes, it is a wonderful environment to be in, that I could help them wherever they're going to land, by all means.
And then a little bit about how you compare to like some of those big box websites where it's like, because I know personally, I mean, it's kind of like Zillow, where you put in a lead to Zillow, or you post, I want to see a house, and everyone calls you, and just you're just a name. Like how, I know you work very
Thank
different.
you for saying that. We very similar with what we do. Yes. How do I say this? You know, when you see the content of a brick and mortar, you know, the building itself, and seeing all the amenities and seeing that, you really don't know what outcomes are in that building, you know, or their special license that is going to be important for now and as your parent ages in place. Those are all considerations. I'm a very good negotiator as well too. Sometimes there is a move-in fee, and I'm like, okay, I understand that you need to do that, but we're going to do it over 4 months, right? Some people don't realize that as well. Like I said, I'm a good negotiator, so I want to get the best value for my clients as well too. But yes, seeing things in print in a brochure is not going to tell you the whole picture.
No.
So yes, they could call me, and if they have ideas, yes, we can investigate it together. As long as they have not been on this journey with another company, because I do require exclusivity, because you cannot have two advisors working at the same time. It's like we're competing with each other. Same thing as the real estate agents.
Right,
It's like who's showing the home and who's listing it. It becomes very, very complex for the senior living community as well. So I do get you know, really a commitment, and then I'm committed even
to
more
them.
so.
Right.
But you know, just what the brochure says doesn't mean that's what's being done. Me having a lot of experience over the years of being on the inside of these facilities through home health and hospice, I know the inside out.
Right.
So
It's tremendous. Most people,
it's
people who are trying to place people don't
yes,
have that experience from the inside.
don't have that experience, and sadly enough, and that's why I called it the golden rule. We treat our seniors the way we want to be treated ourselves. It's not. There's a term in healthcare and senior living as well as nursing homes. It's beds, heads in beds. That's not my philosophy. Me, it's a quality of life. That's why we want to treat them as I would treat them as my own parents. And sometimes I do adopt them a little bit more than they can even imagine. But to me, is we're dealing with a precious life. We're not dealing with just, oh, okay, this is it. And, you know, and I wave goodbye. I do follow up on details quite often, but you know, everybody's on their best behavior, the salespeople of all these communities. And quite honest with you, I get down and dirty, and I'm very transparent with them, and I'm allowed to be. So I don't sell to the community because this is the one that, you know,
But you're more of an
pays
advocate.
the most or whatever. No, I'm
I
not
feel like
like that.
you're much more of an advocate for people. Like you're trying
Yes,
to find the best solution
absolutely.
for them. And you really match up exactly with where they need to be for what their needs are.
Absolutely. And you know what? There is times that I'm going to help them with other resources and getting them what they need, because, you know, the doctor that they now have to now go to by car, by bus, or whatever that it may be, we're going to get a mobile physician. And I've learned that even through my own parents, they're wonderful. It puts less pressure on the senior themselves, and they come to the community. You still be in your pajamas for all your
Right. You
care.
don't have to
You're
go
not
anywhere.
waiting
They
in the
come to
waiting
you.
room.
Right. Absolutely.
Exactly. And great for emergent situations
Mhm.
as well. But we order home health. You know, a lot of the doctors like, oh, that person doesn't need home health. Well, doctor, this person is now walking more than they were used to at home. They knew the perimeters of their home. No, they're going to be having home health. We're going to order PTOT because it does, there's more eyes and ears on that person, but it's also getting them more adapted
More
to their
help.
community.
It's also getting them help.
Absolutely.
They could have been
Absolutely.
going under the radar, because if you don't go to the doctor, they don't know how to help you.
And that's very prevalent. Very
Yeah.
prevalent. Or they go to the doctor, like going to the principal's office. Everything's great, and nobody knows what's going on at home. There might be a hoarder. It's a very
Right.
sad
Yeah,
situation.
they don't.
They're not taking the medications right, whatever that it may be. Absolutely.
Okay, well, it's been really wonderful chatting with you today. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to put your link in below, and that way they can reach out to you directly. But again, it was great talking with you. Have a
Thank
great
you. And thank you so much that we ended up doing
Yes.
a little coffee today. Thank you so much.